It started with a scream, and a speaker blasting meditation music so loud it rattled my wood carvings. A woman in neon yoga pants stood in front of my tiny lakeside craft booth, shrieking that I was disrupting the spiritual energy of the lake. A week later, I registered the entire lake as a private hunting preserve and shut down her $75 a ticket retreat with one printed sign. And yeah, she cried. But let me back up. Name's Travis Cole, 34. I inherited my granddad's old cabin out by Black Fern Lake, a quiet stretch of pine and glassy water tucked in northern Minnesota. The kind of place where loons outnumber people and neighbors still bring you jam in mason jars. My wife, Laura, used to be a law student, sharp as they come, but traded courtrooms for candles, real ones, hand-poured, beeswax, scented like pine and wildflowers. She runs the kitchen like an apothecary. I carve wood animals on the porch. Life was simple. Good until showed up. Priscilla Langford. If pastel entitlement were a person, it'd be her. She pulled up in a bright pink SUV covered in chakra decals and flung open the door like she was arriving at Coachella. Speaker in one hand, organic smoothie in the other, and a face twisted in exaggerated disgust at our booth. "This clutter," she said, waving at our handmade candles and carved elk, "is polluting the wellness frequency I'm cultivating." I thought she was joking. I laughed. Bad move. She snapped a photo of our stand with her phone and said, "You'll be hearing from the HOA and the universe." Turns out, she wasn't bluffing. Priscilla had somehow gotten herself elected as president of the newly formed Lake HOA, despite only moving in 6 months ago. Apparently, she had a vision to transform Black Fern Lake into a regional sanctuary for healing. And our little craft booth, according to her, it was commercial pollution. 2 days later, a letter arrived. Cease and desist, a $500 daily fine. Threats of legal action. I've never seen Laura so mad. She wasn't just mad. She was humiliated. "They're trying to erase us," she muttered, fingers shaking as she read the letter. We'd been selling maybe 20 candles a weekend. Tourists loved them. Locals loved them. Kids stopped to watch me carve. It wasn't a business. It was a porch with friends. Still, we played it straight. Went to the HOA meeting. 12 people in folding chairs, and Priscilla standing up front like a TED Talk host in rhinestone yoga pants. "We must preserve vibrational alignment," she announced, "and limit activities that lower energetic integrity." I kid you not, she banned wind chimes for disrupting soul resonance. When Laura whispered, "Is this a cult?" Priscilla glared at us like we'd desecrated a sacred shrine. Next week, a city inspector showed up. Said we were running an illegal business, handed us a citation, and shut us down. Laura didn't cry, not then. But that night, she stared at her unused candle molds and said, "Why does one person get to take everything?" I didn't have an answer. But fate did. The next morning, I went to clean out the basement. Needed something to do with my hands. That's when I found the trunk. Old, leather, dusty. Shoved behind Christmas decorations. My granddad's. Inside? A stack of papers from 1893, handwritten maps, licenses, a deed, and a document titled Black Fern Lake, Cole Family Hunting Reserve. My heart damn near stopped. I ran upstairs, threw the papers on the table, and yelled, "Laura, get your lawyer brain. This might be something." Her eyes locked in like they used to during mock trials. She found a statute buried in Minnesota's land codes. Traditional hunting preserves, if never revoked, can be reactivated by documented heirs. It gave regulatory authority over activities within 500 yards of the lake. That meant noise, public gatherings, even access. The law hadn't been touched since Teddy Roosevelt was president, but it was real, and we had everything. Maps, signatures, lineage. We just needed someone who knew how to make it stick. Enter Buck Hartwell, property rights attorney. Looked like he lived in his law office and hadn't smiled since Y2K. He examined our documents, whistled low, and said, "This could work. But if you lose, you'll lose big." We didn't blink. We filed. Meanwhile, Priscilla kept spiraling upward into her ego cloud. She launched a full-on Black Fern wellness weekend. Tickets were $75. She hired yoga instructors from Chicago, ordered food trucks, printed banners. Healing the Midwest, her flyers said. The local paper even featured her. She thought she'd won. Then, the state approved our petition. We had a certificate, gold seal and everything, declaring Black Fern Lake a reactivated private hunting preserve under the Cole Family Trust. We printed signs, installed cameras, posted legal notices. It was official. Saturday morning, she rolled up to set up her retreat. I stepped onto the field, our field, and drove a sign into the ground, right where her meditation mats were supposed to go. Private hunting zone. No unauthorized gatherings. She marched over, veins bulging. "You can't do this. This is a wellness event." I calmly handed her the certificate. She read it. Once. Twice. Her pupils dilated like she'd seen a ghost in Lululemon. "You registered a lake as a hunting ground?" she screeched. "This is absurd." "I call it family tradition," I said. She called the cops. They came, looked at the papers, verified them in the database, told her to shut it down or face trespassing charges. The bloggers left. The food trucks drove off. The yoga instructors packed up their mats. And Priscilla? She had a meltdown worthy of a reality TV finale, screaming, crying, kicking over candles. Someone live-streamed it. Hashtag Odd Lake Karen went viral by nightfall, but it wasn't over. She sued us for $75,000, claimed misuse of antiquated land codes and deliberate sabotage. But then something wild happened. An anonymous email showed up at the local paper, screenshots of texts between Priscilla and a development firm. Turns out, she wasn't spiritual. She was strategic. She'd been planning to flip the lakeside for a luxury wellness resort and needed the neighborhood cleared. We weren't pollution. We were in the way. The trial was packed. Judge Wong presided. Laura gave the speech of her life, not as a lawyer, but as someone who'd lived through it. "We used the law to defend our home," she said. She used hers to erase it. Buck presented the old maps, the statutes, the lineage. Then he dropped the bomb. Evidence of Priscilla's deal with the development firm. Even the judge looked disgusted. Priscilla's testimony fell apart like a wet paper bag. Verdict? We won. Priscilla was ordered to pay our legal fees. The HOA voted to remove her. She sold her house. Her retreat dissolved. Her reputation? Torched. We reopened our booth. Sales tripled. We added a new candle scent called Victory Pine. Laura went back to law school, this time for real. I made a sign for the front porch, protected since 1893. No fake gurus allowed. And that lake still reflects the morning sun, just like Grandpa said it would. Justice or just revenge?